At a certain level of success, the conversation changes. The question is no longer how to make money. You already know how to do that. The question becomes, how do you stop productive income from getting trapped inside mediocre structures? How do you take a very strong career, a very strong balance sheet, and place both inside a stronger machine? Because high earners rarely fail from lack of effort. They fail from living too long inside the wrong architecture. This is not a retail presentation. This is a private room conversation about financial design. A private bank does more than hold money. It shapes belief. It makes conventional structure feel intelligent. It makes ordinary leverage feel refined. And once a structure feels respectable, many successful people stop asking whether it is actually efficient. That is where quiet financial underperformance begins. John and Betty are exactly the kind of people institutions prefer. Strong income, strong credit, stable behavior. $1 million mortgage does not feel dangerous to them. It feels like proof that they are doing life correctly. And that is exactly why they are useful here. They represent a broader truth. Successful people often confuse social proof with structural superiority. Now remove every distracting variable. No inheritance, no lottery ticket, no fantasy. Just two 40-year-old doctors, same hospital, same income, same broad lifestyle, same intention. Both plan to work very hard for 30 years. Both plan to save and contribute during those 30 working years. Both plan to stop contributions once they reach age 71. And both expect that from age 71 forward, their money should finally begin working for them. That is the deal they believe they are making with the future. Dr. John follows the path most successful professionals are conditioned to trust. He puts all $400,000 of annual earnings into the banking system temporarily. Then, over the course of each year, he draws more than 90% of it back out to pay for life, family, housing, travel, taxes, everything. By the time the year settles, he has effectively left about $40,000 behind. That leftover $40,000 is what compounds, not the entire earning power of the year, not the total cash flow his career produced, only the smaller amount he agrees to leave parked and tied up. That money compounds at roughly 4% in the bank, respectable, conservative, predictable, but small relative to the strength of his career. Dr. John is not failing. He is simply using a machine that rewards only what remains behind. Dr. Patel is just as intelligent as Dr. John, just as hardworking, just as ambitious. But he possesses one formative advantage. He was raised by a very successful career life insurance agent. His father provided generously for the family. Yes, with death benefit, but more importantly, with knowledge. From an early age, Dr. Patel learned something most high earners never hear when they are young. There is a profound difference between earning interest on a small leftover balance and participating in a structure designed around total account value. His father told him that many otherwise successful people are silently walking past life-changing wealth because they spend their lives using machines that only reward the small pile they lock up. So when Dr. Patel became successful, he did not look at a mutual life insurance chassis as a retail insurance purchase. He looked at it as financial technology, a liquidity tool, a compounding engine, a machine. Here is the cleanest version of the comparison. Both doctors earn $400,000 a year. Both place the full $400,000 into their institution of choice each year before drawing out roughly 90% to fund life. That detail matters. This is not a comparison between one man who spends and one man who never touches his money. Both spend, both live, both circulate their cash flow. The difference is where the money sits temporarily and what that machine does while it is there. This is the hinge. The doctors are not separated by effort, they are separated by machine design. Dr. John's bank pays interest only on the smaller amount he leaves behind. In this example, that is roughly $40,000 per year. His compounding base is modest because his machine only rewards what he is willing to keep tied up. Dr. Patel's design is very different. He places the full $400,000 per year into a properly structured accumulation design. In this hypothetical illustration, the account value assumptions continue compounding at 4% annually. And Dr. Patel understands that policy-based loans may be taken from the structure without the rigid amortization schedule people expect from banks, so long as the policy is properly designed and properly managed. He also understands something else. This accumulation policy and his estate planning death benefit policy are not the same thing. He keeps those purposes mentally separate. One policy is for living well, the other is for leaving well. That distinction is sophisticated, and it changes everything. Now we walk the two systems side by side every 5 years. No fluff, no double counting, no repeating values after they've already been established, just the architecture. By age 45, Dr. John has built a respectable reserve. Dr. Patel has already built a different category of engine. And Dr. Patel knows that under the policy assumptions in this illustration, he may access policy-based tax-advantaged loans early if he wants to, without treating the structure like a fragile museum piece. That means greater purchasing power during the build-up years, not just at retirement. At age 50, the separation is now visible. Dr. John has done what disciplined savers are told to do. Dr. Patel has done what structural thinkers do. By age 55, Dr. Patel's accumulated growth has already crossed $2 million in this illustration. That is the point where optionality begins changing behavior. This is the end of the accumulation phase. Both men are now 70. Both have worked 30 hard years. Both stop contributions at age 71. Now retirement begins. And now the machine tells the truth. If Dr. John wants to preserve principal and apply a conventional 4% distribution framework, his account may support about $90,000 per year before taxes. $90,000 per year. That is meaningful. It is respectable. But now ask the adult question. Will $90,000 per year before taxes sustain the $400,000 lifestyle he and his family have been accustomed to for over 30 years? Probably not. So what happens next? More work, more risk, more withdrawals, a lower standard of living, a late life scramble for yield? This is not a criticism of Dr. John. It is the natural result of using a smaller machine. Dr. Patel understands retirement differently. He does not expect to live on a government-sponsored qualified plan as the center of his future. He does not expect required minimum distributions to dictate the rhythm of his life. He is using a different architecture. He also understands that in this hypothetical design, policy-based loans are not set up like a bank's mandatory amortization schedule. His intention is to enjoy the cash flow while he is alive and let the permanent death benefit inside this accumulation design absorb outstanding policy loans at death, subject to the policy remaining in force. And because he separately owns another permanent policy designed primarily for family legacy, he does not confuse the purpose of the two structures. One is for lifestyle and liquidity, one is for inheritance. Age 71. About $900,000, he could purchase a rental home in cash. Age 72, about $935,000, he could make a major gift to his church and still live comfortably. Age 73, about $975,000, he could support family back in India and still reserve capital for future opportunities. Age 74, about $1,010,000, he could build a serious silver and gold collection or deploy into hard assets. Age 75, about $1,050,000. He could buy Bitcoin and other digital assets without disturbing the base machine. Age 76, about $1,095,000. He could fully fund grandchildren's college accounts. Age 77, about $1,140,000. He could earmark medical school tuition for the next generation. Age 78, about $1,185,000. He could buy new cars for the entire family. Age 79, about $1,230,000. He could purchase a lake home in the woods. Age 80, about $1,280,000. He could buy beachfront property in Florida. Age 81, about $1,330,000. He could donate the full year's amount to cancer research. Age 82, about $1,385,000. He could endow a university program at the school that trained him. Age 83, about $1,440,000. He could buy into a storage business with strong passive cash flow. Age 84, about $1,495,000. He could acquire farmland and build the horse property he always wanted. Age 85, about $1,555,000. He could purchase another house for rental income. Age 86, about $1,620,000. He could pay for 2 major family weddings without strain. Age 87, about $1,685,000. He could keep his aging mother in her home with exceptional private care. Age 88, about $1,750,000. He could fund care for his wife's mother as well. Age 89, about $1,820,000. He could open cash value-oriented policies on grandchildren and extend the architecture another generation. Age 90, about $1,895,000. He could finance a media platform, a family foundation, or another meaningful venture entirely. That is not a retirement check. That is a lifestyle engine. And Dr. Patel does not live narrowly during these years, because he did not simply consume the architecture, he used it. During the 30-year accumulation period, Dr. Patel did not merely watch statements grow. He actively used policy-based liquidity and the confidence of a stronger balance sheet to expand far beyond his medical practice. He built a managed investment portfolio. He accumulated short-term rental properties. He bought pieces of private hospitality deals, restaurants, car washes, commercial buildings leased to small businesses. He provided liquidity to lenders who needed capital to keep operating. By the end of the build phase, his outside world had become enormous. At least 50 properties, many paid off, others still producing cash flow and building an even more bank-friendly balance sheet. And because the machine beneath him was strong, the banks treated him accordingly. Better terms, better access, better options. He was no longer merely a doctor who invested. He became a doctor with a private capital mindset. Dr. John did many things right. His home is paid for, his children's education is funded, he owns a few quality investments. One rental on the Jersey Shore performed well. He often wished he had bought more when they were cheaper. But he never had the same liquidity cushion or credit flexibility to go all in when opportunity was in front of him. Now he is 71, still intelligent, still respectable, but not in his physical prime. Not in the same energy state he had at 40, and his primary machine is simply too small to carry the full weight of the lifestyle he once assumed retirement would preserve. Now we return to the most overlooked asset on many affluent balance sheets, home equity. For the right client, home equity is not just shelter, it is dormant collateral, and in many properly underwritten cases, it can become a practical funding source for policy design. Not because it is reckless, because it can be one of the most effective ways to make the entire balance sheet work harder. Some advisors never use home equity this way because they do not understand the architecture, the underwriting, or the policy design. Others assume no bank would ever approve it, and sometimes that is true. Sometimes the structure is not appropriate. But when the client profile, cash flow, credit, and real estate equity support it, home equity can become a highly strategic source of premium funding. The goal is not blind leverage. The goal is intelligent leverage. You are not borrowing simply to borrow. You are repositioning otherwise stagnant real estate equity into a structure designed for long-horizon accumulation and liquidity, subject to underwriting and careful management. That is the moment the viewer realizes Dr. Patel is not just a character. he is a model. This is not a do-it-yourself fantasy. This is cash flow modeling, policy design, loan management, stress testing, tax review. If those disciplines are absent, the strategy is incomplete. That matters, because elegance without discipline is just seduction. And this presentation is not for people shopping for excitement. It is for people building systems. This is not about who is smartest. It is not about who worked the hardest. It is not about who got luckiest. It is about who selected the most efficient money-generating machine and used it with discipline for decades. Knowledge is only power when it is applied. Dr. Patel knew more, but more importantly, he acted on what he knew for 30 straight years. We would like the opportunity to review your cash flows, your portfolio, your home equity, and your current architecture to see whether a Dr. Patel-style machine makes any sense for you at this stage of life. For some people, the ideal time to start was 40 years ago. For others, the best time is now. In many cases, accumulation-focused designs can still be reviewed for clients well into later ages, subject to carrier rules, health, and underwriting. The point is not to complain about the years behind you. The point is to make the strongest possible use of what you still have today. If you would like to explore a Dr. Patel-style structure, request the fact finder in advance of the first meeting. Then schedule an appointment. Call 302-998-1331, extension 5. Sam Russell is our lead advisor for initial intake and profile review, helping determine whether adding a restructured machine makes sense for you and your family. Because the question is not whether you have money. The question is whether your money is sitting still. The question is not whether you have debt. The question is whether your debt has been ranked. And the question is not whether you are successful. The question is whether your success has been properly engineered. In the end, the winner is not the person with the loudest lifestyle. It is the person with the strongest machine.